Hello, good evening, and welcome to Sunday. This is
Sunday.
weird.
This
Oh,
is weird.
I'm not got Twitch muted either, so I'm hearing myself, which is even weirder.
Well done. Very well done.
Yeah. Um, this is learning Netrunner with Team Squared, and almost at the end of the Ashes cycle. I'm Mark, aka MCG, and I haven't prepared any funny questions because it's a long day.
My
So,
goodness.
who are these other people, and what are they not prepared for?
Well, hi everyone. I'm Sharon, and I wasn't prepared for how long my dinner would take me to eat today. So I've still got about half of it left. It's delicious, so I refuse to just put it down.
My name's Dave, and I'm not prepared for taking a week and a half off of work at the end of next week. I'm kind of panicked about it in a little way, yeah. So I'm
Well,
not
I can
You,
prepared for
assure
that.
you,
Dave,
Dave,
we believe in.
I am more than ready to have a week and a half off work. So,
I'm crapping my pants because everything keeps on breaking constantly. So yeah, I don't know what it's going to be like with a week off. We'll see though. Yeah. As Bill says in the chat, yeah, I'm not allowed the time off, just in case everything sets on fire, I guess. Yeah, but we'll see how that goes.
Do what you did last time, Dave, which was just spend 7 hours on the phone back to work because you were trying to help them fix something.
Yeah, yeah.
wow, it's lucky that we are going to one of the few spots in the UK now that's an absolute uh, phone signal black hole. There is no chance of
Really?
speaking to anyone on the phone.
It's true.
That's
BF
Oh,
nowhere.
yeah, Karen's now looking at me concerned as if that's true, but
Yeah, Sharon. It's proper in the middle of nowhere, and when we get there, from that point on, we're not going to have any signal. We're not going to have the internet. We're basically going back to the Stone Ages, and we'll have to cook everything over open fires. So
well, I
I'm
mean,
told.
the open fire sounds quite fun, but I'm sure I can find my little mini Wi-Fi hub.
Relies on
no,
the
that's fine as well. No,
yeah.
bylaws say
I'm
they're
sure
not.
I can install hardwired Wi-Fi before we get there.
Just roll out a big reel of cable all the way from London, just out of desperation, plugged into your home phone line. Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, that'll be good fun.
All right. So games.
Okay. Yeah, well, we're here on Sunday because in just a week and a half's time, as Dave has already alluded to, we'll be um, meeting up for our season finale. And we need to get through the rest of the Ashes cycle before we can consider it finished.
That's right. In a week and a
So,
half, it's going to be one entire week of the longest hangover I've ever had in my life. And we'll have to fit card games in live during that. So, yeah, we need to get all of the cards in hand before that happens, so that finally Sharon's decks are legal.
I mean, I feel like they won't be.
I'm fully
I feel like
expecting.
somehow when we finish the Ashes cycle, we'll just end up with something from Kitara slipped in somehow.
we
Or
won't. We won't because I can deal with the filters on Netrunner DB.
But you don't deal. You can, and you could choose to,
No,
but you
but
never
I
do.
the filters, the set filters.
Sure, sure, right. So as long as we never start adding another set, we're safe. But up until that point, Danger Town. Sure. Okay, so what am I expecting to see this week then Sharon? An MBN card or two wedged into that Jinteki deck, or?
I really, really hope not.
It's going to be good fun. I'm looking
Well, I
forward
mean,
to
there is an NBN card, but we are allowed to use it.
it. Sure.
well, that's for the court to decide.
Yeah. Oh, having a bit of
Yeah,
stutter on my connection at the moment. Sorry. Let me see if I can troubleshoot that. But go ahead.
Well, while you're shooting at troubles, I'll talk about more troubles. So, on Wednesday's classroom session, we spoke about Jinteki cards and all the hot nonsense that they support. So, we can only hope today goes as smoothly as every other exhibition that we've done thus far, except now with more cards that don't follow the rules of Netrunner.
Oh shit, I hadn't even thought of this. It's going to be an absolute mess, isn't it? Right, 87 minutes was last week's record, wasn't it?
We
You're
can
saying
do
record like it's something you're trying to break, Dave. It's making me very nervous. It's
Sorry, I don't mean it like a record. I mean like a criminal record.
okay. Well saved.
Yeah. But I'm partially ready to go. I don't know whether you could consider this ready. But I've made what some people might consider to be decks and others might consider to be an embarrassment. So I'm good to go.
Well, on that bombshell, let's get over to the arena.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Okay. Sharon, you've already selected, which means that, car, I'm the runner to start with. Sure.
there early. Now, I have been able to test this deck a few times, and I'm not entirely sure it's working properly.
Good. Good, because I tore apart my Hashiko deck in order to try and abuse one of the mechanics on it. And honestly, I'm not sure it's going to work in the slightest. So we'll see. Right, that'll do.
Oh,
Alright.
Hashiko versus Restoring Humanity. Excellent.
Yeah. Oh, good start. Straight away. Cash card. Mine's going to be a little more naff than that, I think. What's the most damage that I can take off of a snare? Is it 3?
A snare gives you 3 damage, yeah. That's the most you can take from an unadvanced card.
Okay. Well, in that case, let's run into this snare. Oh, okay. Sure, cool. It's good to know. That's good to know. Sharon, don't forget to res your pad campaign before
Thank
your
you,
turn.
Dave.
Hey, no worries. Look, we've all been there many times. I dislike that we're both powering on with cash early. Like heavy duty, let's get dosh.
Absolutely. It's the way forward.
Yeah.
See that you're embracing some of our new Shaper cards, Dave. That's
Oh, absolutely.
interesting, including Hashiko.
So, I got very paranoid that the cost of actually doing this deck would kind of be my biggest problem, right? Like the being able to afford to do anything would be what messed me up the hardest. So I've gone for a bunch of dosh cards, big dosh cards, and I've spanked out on my using my influence for money for the most part, I think.
Well, the key with Rizekis, of course, is getting them in the early game. Now, getting them on down on turn 2 is pretty.
Well, yeah, the Rizekis should hopefully enable me to keep Hashiko in one piece, so that I'm drawing cards with her.
I see. Yeah, well, that's one way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, counter the cost, right? And then don't be chicken and run, because I've got enough card draw, so hopefully I should be able to run face first and face check a few dangerous things on the way. However, Sharon's money seems to be pretty good at the moment.
I also had a fear about money, Dave.
Uh, so, oof. Boo 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 da, da. Oh, I miscounted that. Nuts.
Which one are you going to
So
eliminate?
let me get rid of that. That's a shame. Okay. Let's archives access. Archives access. Now, the order that you do turn begins things in, is that automatically determined by Jinteki? Because honestly, I'd really like to Hoshiko first.
Good question. You are very much entitled to Hishiko first, but I think I'm not sure the Jinteki gives you the option. If it doesn't give you the option, the polite thing to do would be to say, "Hey, Sharon, I'm having a credit."
Yep.
Hi, Swifty. Yes, these are almost fully. We're almost at the end of the startup card pool. So we haven't done the Ashes cycle for Criminal and MBN yet, but everything else is fair game as far as startup is concerned.
Hmm.
And at the end of this evening's stream, we'll be doing the Criminal cards, and then we'll be finishing off the whole set on Wednesday with MBN.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a lot of upgrades going on here, Sharon. 3
Yeah, I
upgrades
have a
so
feeling
far.
they're chop me in the face style upgrades. So we'll see how they go.
All cards are snares until proven otherwise. That's all you've got to do.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Can you remind me? Because I think this happened in a game we were playing, didn't it, Dave? If you get one of my ice down to 0 strength,
Yep.
you don't need a program breaker for the card to just pass it.
No, I still need to break the subroutines on it. However, I don't need to pay to interface with it. So I don't need to match my strength to it because it's 0, right? But its subroutines still fire off.
Got it. Thanks.
In standard the standard card pool, there are in fact ice that are 0 strength. Well, in startup there is in fact in white space. You still have to break it though, even if it's.
Yeah. It's your go, Sharon. Oh wait, no, it's my go. It's your. Do you want to res it? Oh. Okay, interesting. I didn't expect that.
I that was an accident.
Oh.
That was.
Do you want me to undo this click then?
Yeah, would you mind? Sorry.
Yeah, sure.
Drink.
It's Sunday and it's decided I'm not going to have a drink today. And I've
Wow. That in and of itself is crazy. Right, okay, go for it. Ice Wall.
Oh, we're going to be taking a little break, PK Tenacious, before we look at the standard card pool.
I think it was a poor choice for me to res, and I don't know why.
No, it costs me a credit to break the ice wall.
It's
costs
very
you
close, right?
Yeah, it
It's
costs
because, sorry, it costs you one. It only costs Dave 1 to break it, but the fact it only costs you 1 to res it, you may as well keep making Dave pay those ones as not do.
Sure.
If it was a more expensive piece of ice and Dave could break it for one, then that would be a different story.
Regolith mining license is money. Let's trash it. Okay, that's a successful trash. Fortunately, saved my ass from Lacostering. But Lacostering is... Oh no, Lacoster is advancement. It's not paying for access. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's gain a credit, stick out the Trickster, gain a credit, end the turn. I stay digital. Everything's good. I forgot to count my money at the start of the turn anyway, so me questioning all of that was kind of pointless.
What do you mean?
Well, I still don't know if Jinteki.net does my money right each turn, so I should start with 4 extra cash minus 1, so 3 extra cash now. Yeah?
If you look back in the log, it says you started with 0, the first thing you did was lose 1, and then you gained 4.
Okay, cool. I wonder if it sorts it out so it does cash lost first, so that if you can't afford to lose the cash, you get to keep it. Because that would probably make sense, unless it stops it. That seems pretty sensible. Okay. Gain a credit. Run server 2. Continue to encounter the ice. Fully break the ice wall. Access the server.
Oh, look at that value of Trickster Attacker.
Hey, straight out, paid for it straight away. Oh, wall to wall. Oh.
Card we were all expecting to see in a Restoring Humanity deck.
Oh. No, you do what you want with it. I want to trash Lacosta. There we go.
Am I trash cards before my turn starts?
Are you allowed to trash cards before your turn starts?
Yeah.
You can only trash them if you've got a trigger to trash them, right?
Yeah,
No, that's what I'm asking.
You can't just ad hoc trash cards, but if it is a card with a trash ability, you can fire it before your turn starts if you wish to, yes.
Well, and if I wanted to get rid of Pad Campaign...
You may not just trash Pad Campaign, you would have to overwrite it with something. There's no ability to just decide I don't want that anymore.
Sure, there's nothing in the server, so I guess, yep, cool. Wow, look, an empty server. Balls. That's alright.
I'm sure you kept doing that to me when I was playing against you and you had a Spin Doctor once. You had a few Spin Doctors, and I was like, this is so infuriating.
That's exactly how Spin Doctor can work. It just creates this weird sort of gulf for a minute where Jinteki can't keep showing you make a run because the server doesn't exist anymore, but it's not prompting you to take your next action yet because it's waiting for the corp to decide which cards they want to shuffle back.
Yeah.
Hi Steph, yes, this is a surprise Sunday stream.
Stealthy.
We've got to get all these cards in. We are that committed to the cause.
Look, PK. I've got so much MU in this deck, but I'll tell you where it is. It's in the last 9 cards. The last 9 cards of my stack down here have all of my MU. Because Jinteki hates me. Yeah.
Strange place to put them, Dave. You really
Yeah.
should have shuffled them higher up than that.
I'd love a shuffle event in this damn game. Like, I'd love the ability to just do something, shuffle, just shuffle, shuffle. It's like
Now,
Deal or No Deal. I want to shuffle the box, but I can't.
so if I want to get rid of pad campaign, how do I do it?
You would have to overwrite. You'd have to install an asset into server 1 or an up agenda or whatever. Install any card in server 1, and you may trash pad campaign. One of the limitations of Jinteki.net is if you install an upgrade into server 1, it won't trash pad campaign automatically because it'll assume you want to have both. But when you are installing an upgrade, you may trash pad campaign if you wish to.
Strange. I can't imagine why you didn't just build a new server off to the side and leave the pad campaign.
Because I'll tell you why at the beginning of my next turn. Okay.
Let's have a look what's in archives at the moment. 3 things in archives. Like, it was already installed.
If you want to catch up on the action, Steph, all the VODs are on the YouTube channel. I can't promise they'll be any more exciting in the streams, but they exist.
Door A. No. What are you going to get rid of, Dave?
Yep. I'm fed up of not being able to run correctly.
There we go. It's because I can't. Because wall to wall, if I've got any other asset res, I can only do one of the things.
That's mental.
And I was like, well, I don't know how to get rid of pad campaign.
Deleting pad campaign, which just gains you 1 passively, for wall to wall, which is one of those things. Okay, I guess.
I mean, 1 wall to wall is better than 1 pad campaign.
Yeah, but 1 wall to wall and 1 pad campaign.
It depends what you want to do, of course.
I suppose. Yeah. Cool. What's the worst I can lose? 3? 4 potentially. Let's do it. Yeah, cool. Yep.
Well, that is the worst case scenario.
That was the worst case scenario right there. That was stupid. What? You know what? Bite me, Jinteki. That's ridiculous.
I'm just going to reveal my HQ. How do I show all the cards then?
Ridiculous.
I don't think you can reveal all an HQ. That's not a thing, but...
How many snares were there?
1.
Yep.
There was 1 snare and 4 agendas.
Yeah, 4 agendas. Better than 50-50.
Yeah.
Better than 50-50 chance, 1 in 7 chance of dying. Better than 50-50 chance of just taking 1 damage for PE, right? And a 1 in 7 snare.
I mean, you wouldn't even take the PE damage because Sharon was playing Restoring Humanity. So
of course. So it was cards down in archives. You know what? Whatever I've said previously about the Jinteki.net developers and their RNG system, I'd like to apologise. Clearly, they're watching the stream. Clearly, they're forcing some sort of wicked revenge on me, and I would like to humbly apologise for whatever I've said about the RNG previously, because clearly it's very RNG-ish, but I'm just getting sniped by the developers, and I want to apologise for causing any offence.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was odd when your name showed up in yellow. They've obviously got some sort of status associated in the character.
Oh, the classic "fuck this guy" status, yeah, in particular.
It's part of our new moderation tools. If we want to get people out, we just curse them, and then they.
It's genuinely hurting my sanity. I have never been as bummed
Oh,
by
apparently the
Orange.
yellow name shows you're a high level.
Yeah, like Swifty. Me and the Swifty were high level.
You'll soon learn to realise, Sharon, you shouldn't believe anything Swifty says.
No, I think Swifty's onto something here.
Swifty's been upset ever since the card been released that's called Swift. And so every time his name appears in chat, it highlights the card instead of his name.
Oh, unlucky. Right, let's go the other way. Wait, what? Sharon, what? You're also playing a Hashiko deck.
Maybe.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think there's any maybe about it. We can see that you are. It's,
This is madness. I'm mulliganing the heck out of that. I'm in deep trouble. Okay, cool. Let's go! Disappointing draws! Oh,
Might as well.
I've got so much more money than this in this deck.
If it makes you feel better, this is the poorly put together Hashiko deck that you've already played.
Gotcha. Wow.
I mean, it's 47 cards. It's closer than we've been thus far to a correct numbered deck. It's
because I was doing the panic culls when we were having a chat. So I took out all the good cards.
well, those are the best ones to start with.
Oh, come on, a liberated account straight away. This is horse's nerves. I tell you what else is horse's nerves. This. Yeah, sure.
Done. Do you know what? I wasn't even paying attention to what you were doing, Dave. I was just thinking, I'm going to get my liberated accounts out.
Yeah! Too excited.
Which one did you kill? Okay.
It should have only been... Wait, the 2 cards, because it was a Sting and a PE. Which, yeah. I mean, it sucks that you lost Keiko. But I'm sure that's not the last we'll see of that.
It's alright, it happens, isn't it?
Yeah.
Welcome to PE.
Wait, am I allowed boomerang?
No, you still
No!
not allowed. It was still illegal the last time it was illegal.
What?
Let's pretend I don't have it in the deck. I'm going to add a click back because I've just trashed boomerang.
More high quality content. Thanks for joining us, folks.
There we go. Back to you, Dave.
Thanks very much. Oh, that's so good. I can't believe it was boomerang.
In my mind, that boomerang's an allowed card. When will boomerang be allowed?
After today, boomerang shall be allowed.
Thank you.
There
In fact, if this game is as short as the last one, we could do the classroom session in the middle of the stream, and it would become legal for when you play more games at the end.
Sure.
What nastiness have you got waiting for me here, Dave? Dave?
Holy shit. Wait, sorry, 1 second. No further actions, I suppose. Yes. I just didn't expect to bang out an Urtica quite as quickly. Cool.
I mean, you ran with 2 cards in hand then, Sharon.
I know.
If that was Snur, it was GG.
Yeah, I know.
Right. Okay.
I don't really want those 2 cards anyway.
No, but
They were being
presumably you're not trying to throw the game because you didn't know it was an Urtica Scythe.
Don't listen to him, Sharon. Whatever you did was perfect. Plus side is, on a naked... bugger it.
No, only 2 cards you're running with.
Come on, you got 2 more clicks, you can make 2 more runs. Come on, lucky agendas. Come on, lucky agendas. Oh, God, unbelievable. You know what I'm really hoping for now, though, is for you to steal a Sting. Come on, Sting. Ah, it was Nisei. Sure. Cool.
See my pants here.
Yeah, I mean, throw any semblance of logic out the window. Just obstinately just do the wrong thing. That's fine.
Maybe I should start drinking.
Oh,
I was goaded
wait.
into running off me by Dave, okay?
Why
He
did
goaded
it...
me into it.
Wait, that's wrong. I meant to into a new one. Sorry. There we go. Let's try that again. New remote. There we... Oh, I missed. Cool. Draw. There we go. Cool.
I'm getting a bit of a lag in my actual viewing of the game. I'm seeing it faster on the stream than I'm on Jinteki.net.
Are you sure? Because normally we play really, really slowly, so it would surprise me.
Maybe my Jinteki has just got into a false sense of security now, and it's.
Oh. Oh, Mark's gone. Right.
Oh,
you got 1 more click. That's okay. It's probably no further actions. Yes. Say goodbye to your hand.
3.
Say goodbye to your hand. Say goodbye to your hand and to the game, Sharon. Are you ready? Are you ready? Advance. Score. Sting. Boom.
I think you would have won anyway then.
It was a classic honeypot. Yeah, I couldn't do enough damage unless you stole one of those stings. However, there were 2 stings out and a snare. So everything out there naked was horrible.
So to preempt your question though, Sharon, which I think you were going to ask, why the heck did Sting do 3 damage? Well, first of all, nobody really knows because it's Sting.
It's because you've got
But
one.
yes,
Last one. No, I've got it. I just read the last line.
it does damage equal to the number of stings in the other player's play area, which was 1, plus 1 makes 2, plus the Jinteki personal evolution ability makes 3. So it's bad times.
Very clever.
Mark, look at that up there. The bit I've highlighted.
Wait, hang on.
The bit I'm swooshing my mouse around.
I know, but I have to go back to the Twitch stream. 7 minutes. There you go, Mark. I hope you're happy.
Well, to the degree of someone who's been asking for faster games, yeah. For someone who played against PE with not having any cards in your hand all the way through the game, this was inevitable to happen.
Ability, okay? I just forgot. Oh, I'm curious. What was left in your stack then?
In my stack, there was all sorts. In my hand, I had a Project Yagyu Uda, which was another 2-score agenda, an off-world office, which is an agenda worth 2 points as well.
Yep.
I had a regolith and a clearinghouse, and then my stack, if I show that, had more snares, more Urtica ciphers, and more clearinghouses than you care to count, as well as I was going to try cacking an Urtica cipher or 2 into play, or maybe a clearinghouse, and seeing if I could get away with that sort of shenanigans. And then I had a Sysentan or 3 that I was going to hopefully... Where's the Mythic Ice? I was hopefully going to force you to face with Congens and a bunch of Psyops. And I really wanted to do Psyops stuff, like right from the get-go. I was like, Psyops is going to be great. And as I sort of went through the deck, I removed more and more Psyops cards just to fit in, like, pain.
Yeah.
Like, big pain. But there it is! There it is!
Well, we are only 43 minutes since we started like the holding page. We've been doing content for about half an hour.
I've never seen the like.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I'm inclined to say we should do more games, even before an early classroom session, because to do a classroom session now would be quite ludicrous.
Absolutely. Sharon, would you like to replay that?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Because I feel like you got kind of unlucky with my card draw there as well.
Yeah, but that happened to you as well on mine.
Yeah. Which is why I'd be inclined to replay in the other direction too. But yeah. Sting is excellent, by the way. Sting is bonkers.
Yes, as backed up by other comments in chat. Yeah, everyone loves Sting.
Sting. If I had got all 3 copies of the Sting in my hand, in my score area, that would have screwed me over.
It would have done you the least amount of damage from scoring stings. If you steal every sting, you take the least amount of damage that you can, which is just the 1 from sting plus the 1 from personal evolution retributing you. However, if you steal 2 and I steal 1, then you basically take a chunk of damage. I think the best option for me as the corp is the way round that it went, where you steal 1 and then I score 2 after that. Which is close to how it happened. But yeah.
So it's an either or. So if I don't steal any, then that's better for me as well.
Yes, yeah, because then it's yeah. That's right. But however, if you don't steal any, you're not getting any agenda points out of them. So it's better for you to steal them and take the damage that way and get the agenda points out of them than it is for you to allow me to score them and you not to get those agenda points.
Yep.
But that's like damage wise, it's a different thing. Yeah.
Go, Dave, go.
Muggling again. Cool. Start turn. Oh, start game. Best press the start game button first. Stick that on a new remote. Stick that on server 1. Stick.
All the normal methods of how to play Netrunner go out the window when you're playing against PE. Because PE is definitely trying to kill you. So you have to make sure that at all times you're playing cautiously. There is no, oh, I think I'll just run with 2 cards just to see. But, you know, why not?
That's all right. I'm running with 3 cards.
Cool. Because I'm doing 3 damage, I think. Sure. Sure. Okay,
I would not be running against PE with less than 5 cards in my hand. And if I had things like the Hashiko ability that allows me to start my turn with 6 cards in hand, I'd be running then as well.
there we go. Yeah, that is chicken. Absolutely chicken. You should run face first into everything and just make sure you've got so much. Wait, what's that? Oh, nice. Okay. No further actions. Just go and have a look. Check it out. Check out a card. It's 5 creds. Start turn. Okay. Cool.
So I really need cards like Earthrise Hotel and Verbal... not Verbal Plasticity. Yeah, Verbal Plasticity, right?
Verbal will help with your draw, but Earthrise in particular is good for the same reason that the Hashiko ability is good, that it gets you above your maximum draw size at the start of your turn. That being able to run with 7 cards in hand, as Earthrise enables you, is another safety mechanism. And Dream Netting too, indeed, as Swifty points out, but
Okay, there you go, Sharon. Yeah, I had some Dream Nets in my Hashiko as well. I think we'd only just got them last week.
Did
Yeah.
I see?
So I was...
HQ. Was it a sentry?
What? In front of...
yes,
oh, what card did you access?
Time, which is a sentry.
Yeah, if we look up, Sharon accesses Saisentan, which is, yeah, an AP Observer Sentry. Cool. Break any number of sentry routines. 3 virtual resources. Oh, Xanadu is virtual. Dang. Okay, cool. Let's see.
Virtual. I've forgotten about the virtual stuff.
Credit.
Oh, the Friends virtual. The myth.
Yeah. Virtual companions.
Sure. There you go. Okay. Okay. Um. Interestingly, that would leave you on 8 with 2 clicks left. You know what? Discard down, that only puts me 2 back. And I know I'm playing Jinteki, so it seems mental to give you the card draw. But it actually guarantees that I get a score next turn instead.
Well, the other thing you've got to be cautious of when playing against Jinteki is that you're not wasting your hit points. Obviously, every card you've got is another piece of damage you can take. So if you end your turn, as it appears Sharon's going to do here, with 6 cards in hand, you're throwing away a free hit point.
Unless she's got a 0 coster or something there to
Possible.
use for the last what's it? Yeah. Gain 1
Really,
credit. Oh, oof! Do 1 damage to the deck, not the hand. Right. Boof, boof, boof. Score. Cool. Cool. And this a. And then you're on. Is that? Oh, wait. What? Are you?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay. Ha ha ha. Cool. Cool, cool, cool.
Nicely unpercented.
That is fine. That is perfectly fine. There we go. You can have your cash. Cool. Sure. Cool.
You said you were having something. Oh, don't worry, I forgot. I don't even know how to phrase a question.
Sure.
Unlike me, slowly having a stroke.
Okay. Oh, dang it.
you need to undo?
Yeah, no, that's fine. This is fine.
Sure.
Yep, and I want that in server 2 with 2 watts. It's on it. Thank you very much.
This was a very early Kakarembo, but I leave you to your evil plans.
Oh, Unity.
Companions virtual.
Yes. Yeah, they say virtual on them.
The companion resources, that is.
Oh, so not
yeah.
companion hardware.
Oh,
Not,
no.
not equal.
Oh, then I'm not going to bother doing
Or
that.
virtuals as a subtype, I think, is only resources.
Sure. This will be fine.
Well, no danger from snare on 1 credit, so this is a good time to run.
Yep.
Should I run or should I play something? Yeah.
Go for it. Oh, I knew it was going to be a flipping agenda on the last one. Alright.
Right, what's the champions?
So flipping poor.
I've got 4.
Okay, go for it.
Choose a trigger to resolve. Let's choose that one first. Big. Two.
Runs over.
Oh, okay. Well,
Oh, it's an unusual time to use an essay counter.
Yeah. Sure is. But I can't guarantee that it's not another fucking... Yep, sure. There we go. Because I knew that Jinteki would put everything right there at the top.
Yeah, sure.
oh, I draw a card and lose a credit. Okay. That.
There we go.
Anti review. Card.
Cool. Cool. Finally got some dosh.
Oh, what does she have an R&D? What bollocks do you have there?
Yeah, going up to 10 credits now is big because obviously all ice is on the table now.
Yeah.
Not to mention snares being very much alive.
Ooh.
Then
Let's
3.
go with resource, because your companions are resources, aren't they?
Yeah,
They?
companions are resources, yeah.
They are. Cool. Have you got a sentry breaker? Yeah.
Yeah. Where is it?
It's your Odore. Or Odor. Odor.
Expensive, though.
Yeah, but
5 credits, I think.
had to do it now. What's this one? Hokusai grid. 1 net damage. Oh, bugger. Right.
Can't quite afford to trash it. Cool.
Well, importantly, you've taken Dave way down to 2 credits now.
Yeah.
So R&D is problematic, but there are other servers.
Yeah. What did you do last turn, Dave? Pull the card on R&D. You used hand sign review. You used hand sign review.
I think he was mainly just muddying up on his last turn.
Yeah, same as this turn. Sure. You've got to trash a program. The order you want to do this instead is eat your fermenter for money.
Yeah.
Well, just do it now.
Just do it now. Don't bother undoing the... Oh, okay.
Oh, I've undone it.
Sure. Don't forget to drag it back. Yeah. Just... If you want to... Yeah. If you want to use the MU.
Yeah.
Cool.
ITZMZ. Am I allowed to have 2 cookbooks?
No. It's got a diamond next to it.
Got the diamond, I see it.
Mm-hmm.
Aha. Interesting. Okay. There's no point running that now.
What are you thinking, Abraham Lincoln?
I am
got
wondering.
1 click left.
I'm wondering whether I should draw or gain a credit. I think I'll draw.
Sure.
I think I'll pop Xanadu away.
Holy cow.
Why do you keep getting
4.
these cards money, Dave?
Then...
Biotic labour. Alright. It's always a good one.
Gets me back up to 3 clicks. And then I can advance that 3 times. There we go.
Dave?
Yeah.
You paid 4 credits there to gain an extra click. If you'd just not played Biotic Labour, you could have still advanced that 3 times.
Yep.
And been 4 credits better off.
Yep.
But
Yep, I worked that out myself just after I clicked Biotic Labour, but I don't believe in the undo click button anymore. Nope.
why?
It's done. Because it's done. Because we undo click too often. We've got to hold ourselves to a higher standard of lower play.
That was unusual, that's for sure.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Piece of ice.
Okay, I can't afford anything anymore.
If only you had next before.
I know, right? Yep. Yep.
You'd have undone it.
No. Nope. We make mistakes like that too often, and we use the undo click to just get out of jail free for making mistakes, and I'm done with it.
That's the point.
No, undo click does not exist for me anymore.
Oh, hello.
Wow, what a bold call.
Yep. That's it. I'm donezo. Cool. I choose resource.
Use Botulus. Oh, here we go.
Give it a click. There we go.
Oh, I should have actually checked if I had any resources.
Well, it'll do 1 damage anyway. It's not like Engram Flush that only does damage if they get it right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my mouse has decided to disappear again. Work. Do this.
Yes.
Was it
A snare?
Did I
You
did I
accessed. You accessed a snare from R&D finally. Yes.
You are now tagged as well as damaged.
Aha, but I'm not, for I have untagged myself.
Yeah, Sharon paid the iron price for that.
I'm having to watch on the stream now because Jinteki won't let me rejoin your game.
Oh.
So
Sure.
I'm speaking to you in real time and watching you in delay. It's very disconcerting.
Okay.
Oh, come on, mouse. Oh, right. I was just trying to see the other side.
Sure. Credit. Then. Get a credit. And end my turn. You go. Cool.
Hate Hansai review.
And Kakurembo. You hate Hansai review.
Yeah.
5 for 10. 1 credit more, but you trash a card. Sure.
Oh, how come I? Oh, first time.
First time. You only get to look at 2 the first time you do it.
Yeah. The old HQ interface let you do it every time, but that is no longer valid.
Forgot. The bloody Earthrise Hotel.
Ugh. There we go. Your go, Sharon.
I'm going to do my little shenanigans. That's going in the heap. I had a click back.
Oh my god. Sure.
So many shenanigans.
So many. Right. Oh god damn it! I should have got some money first.
Oh yeah, you've got woefully low amounts of dosh. Have you got enough to break everything? Yeah, you've got enough to break everything, but... Oh my god, yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Cool. Take a damage.
6 points. Almost there.
Yep.
Although the stack is down to 8. So those cards are trickling away as well.
How many cards do you have to have in a thing? How many agendas do you have to have? It's agenda points, isn't it?
Yeah, 21 points. 20 or 21 points worth. But I can make those up in any way I like.
What is that naked card? What is it, Dave? Oh God. Do this, Dave. Why do you do this? I don't trust you as far as I can throw you. Right, let's do this.
Oh, an overclock. Holy cow.
I haven't run HQ yet this turn, have I?
No.
Oh, that wasn't too bad.
Cool. Yes!
No!
Yes!
Yeah!
No! Balls! Oh! You score before you die.
You've therefore unearthed one of the old school most frequently asked questions. What happens if you die when you score the 7th point against personal evolution? But as you rightly said, you win first and then you die. So
If you trigger a win event, you trigger a win event, right? That's it. Everything else after that, it's no longer in the game.
well,
Yeah.
but yeah, winning ends the game instantly, so the death never happens.
Yeah. Although I do appreciate that Jinteki does mention that Sharon was flatlined at the at the end of it. Dang it. That was
Well,
I was
plays
painfully poor. I was painfully poor for all of that. Look at that. Credits by
Well,
click.
that is traditionally personal evolution's problem.
Yeah.
Because the playstyle lends itself to killing, but it does so at a cost, and it's not easy to
Counterbalance that.
yeah, it doesn't lend itself to having lots of economy cards and what have you.
Mm.
It was desperately low on MU. Because this was a virus-led deck, and I only had one DZMZ optimizer. Oh, it's because it was Keiko as well I needed to get out.
Yeah, the Keiko gives you 2 extra MU on her as well.
That's it.
Okay, 27 minutes. That wasn't so bad either.
No.
Could have been quicker, but it was not too shabby.
There was some thinking, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Something.
Right.
Mostly. Are we going into a classroom session or flipping it around?
Oh, we'll flip once more, and then we'll dive into the classroom on the back of that.
This is so exciting.
We've had 3 games in less time than we had 1 game on Wednesday. So.
What's the difference left from our 3 games in that other first game?
Oh, well, I think we've had a 17, an 8, that would be 25.
7.
And that was a 27.
It's a 7
so
minute game.
A 7, okay.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can do it, Dave. I don't think we can, but.
No, we're somewhere around like 50-55 minutes for the 3 games we've had this far. We've got ages left on the 4th game.
Okay. Sharon's just to choose the deck.
Oh, fingers crossed I might actually be able to spectate this one.
Haha. Oh, I wonder what's up this evening.
I don't know.
See
Sharon,
can't see a deck.
your Jinteki deck.
Yeah. What is going on?
It's because Dave has made the game as standard, and I suspect your deck is not standard legal.
It is not standard.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Let me make it startup only then. We'll.
Would suggest that someone's played some Engram flushes.
Oh, Dave. Interesting.
Yeah. No, I could pick my flipping deck. You're the one who's playing the cards that have been banned in standard. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's fine. Startup legal.
No, you're not allowing spectators. But
No, it's allow spectators. It's right there on the stream, Mark.
Oh, it is. It is allow spectators, Mark.
It's just banning me again then.
Right. Shall we remake one more time?
The way that Jinteki, you've been calling out Jinteki so much, it started hating me now as well.
I'm sorry, it's guilt by association, Mark. That's what's going on there. There we go. Let's try it. Third time's a charm. Come on, we can remake this. There it is. This looks fine.
I mean,
holy cow. That's such a keeper. That's the keeperiest keeper I ever kept. In fact, I'm keeping that for the next game as well. That's glorious. Okay, so
sorry, I have to count out loud. Quick question.
Yeah.
You know the card where it says runs against the server can't be declared successful?
Yeah.
Does that mean that cards like Maker's Eye wouldn't work?
If they say if successful on them, then it stops them from working. Correct.
What about Conduit?
Conduit says if successful. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think Conduit is both, because I think Conduit can add a counter without being successful, but it can only access extra cards if it is successful. So...
Wow, I wonder what has been added to the R&D here.
Mind games, Dave. Mind games.
Yeah, that entire thing was you asking BS questions about nothing.
How many snares can I have out in one go?
I think it's 3. I think it's the same number as...
No, I'm being silly now.
As is Dave, going down to 1 card in hand.
I know. I've just got to really hope for absolutely no fast scores. But what's this? It's restoring humanity. I'm basically safe. Basically safe, I think.
Yeah, it's not as big a threat as personal evolution for sure.
No, for sure. What's that, Sharon? Got some agendas in hand, and you want to protect them? Or you've got something trashable in hand. Hilariously trashable.
Oh, I don't have to draw. I didn't want...
No, it's not.
Damn it.
Okay, let's flippin' go. Yeah, I've got enough. I know, Mark. I know 9 credits, snares. I'm rolling the dice.
But why are you rolling the dice?
Because I want to get rid of this Crisium grid. I know it's there. I want to pay the money. I access Lacosta grid. I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm basically safe. And I flipped. I'm safe, Mark. See?
Good, yay!
Chaos.
Oh dear me.
Oh no.
I'm not allowed to just trash cards, am I? I have to draw them, and then like it, because I'm trying to get a face down card in archive, so I have to figure out how to trash it face down.
You would have to end your turn with too many cards in hand and therefore discard, or you would need to craft an installed card, or you would need an effect like Hansai Review, which tells you to put a card face down in archives.
Got it.
It's an off-world office.
This is your weekly reminder that Offload Office is a stupid card that should
Look at these credits that came out of nowhere. Still got a click left, Sharon.
Oh, I know. I'm trying to think. Why is this so bloody? Oh, I've got 6 cards, so I've got to put something out. Let's pop you out.
Cool. Start turn.
Oh no, I wanted 6 cards so I could get rid of something.
If you just click for a credit, you'll turn on your restoring humanity ability.
Yeah. Brain, okay, routine. Cogates. Cogates, cool. Yep. Let's get rid of one of those. Put one of those out. And stick one of these down for the future. Because I have a feeling I'm going to be... There we go, you go.
You have tipped your hand somewhat there, Dave, though.
What's that?
Well, if Sharon thought maybe you didn't have a code gate breaker, she could try and force something out behind the Lotus Field. You've now said, I've got a code gate breaker, don't do that.
Or alternatively, I could be making it obvious and just avoiding the Urtica cipher that she's put out. It's mind games on mind games, Mark. I could be making her waste an Urtica there.
I'm out of my depth there.
This is the next level place.
Didn't mean to do that install.
Brilliant. That could be the next level play right there. I swear, if Sharon uses undo click to reinstall that exact same card in that spot, I'm out. That's it. This is too many. It's too many mind games for me.
Well, unfortunately, the stream can't tell, but I can, so I'll.
I'm desperately hoping for that next level play where Sharon takes it back into hand and goes whoops, and then puts it straight back out again. Another snare. Well, how do you like them apples?
Yeah. Audacious, to say the least.
Yeah, right. How good would that be? Uh-huh. Thing is, right now. Oh shit! I missed. Ah! I'm definitely undoing that, and that's fine. Okay, because I missed the button. There we go. That's a fine one. That's okay. That's not bad, right? That's
no, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah. There we go. Installing stuff naked, Sharon. Installing stuff naked.
Indeed.
What, do I look like a mug to you? Is that all I am? A mug? Oh,
maybe.
God. Oh, maybe that's maybe it isn't a gender though. I mean, that would be some cool mind games. Ah, the regolith.
Going for it quickly before you try and take it away. Because we know that you would do that, just to be mean.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Ute, how much would that cost to break Lotus Field? That would be 3 plus 1, 4?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Oh, it's a tithe! Oh,
Hey,
it's a tithe I just chucked out. That is incredible, though. The cost of breaking that tithe
Yeah.
is 5 with an
Welcome
Odor.
to Aldora.
Oh!
What you really could do with here, Dave, is an ice carver, and then 3 virtual resources.
Right.
So that it costs you 0. But until that point, it costs you 5.
Bugger it. I don't want to take the 1 damage. I like my hand too much currently. So let's have a look. Please allow me through to have a look at your HQ.
Fine.
Uh,
Ad campaign. The chat's been very quiet for me.
No action. Yeah, it is. This is fine. It's not
They're just
just you.
wowed by all this speedy play. They can't keep
Yeah,
up.
yeah, struggling. Okay, Sharon, it's your go. Mandatory start turn draw, please. Oh.
Yes! Give me the money! The choices, Dave.
Right, okay. Let me do this.
Well, that leech might help with tithe.
Yep.
We'll take it down to 3 credits potentially.
Yeah. God, 20 credits, Sharon. You're rolling in it.
There. Pointless.
Absolutely rolling in it, but nothing's coming out of HQ, which makes me think you've got no ice in HQ and all agendas.
Maybe, Dave, maybe not.
Let's have a look at Sharon's face back on 6 seconds ago when I suggested that. Yeah, I thought so. It's all agendas. I'm coming for your HQ. Hang on to your pants.
Rare you get a chance to read the body language like that on Jinteki.
Oh, more money. Uh-huh.
I haven't, Dave. Why?
More money. Right, let me gain a credit. Uh, was facetious. I don't know why I clicked. Right, let's run Hukwa. Then let's fully break the tithe for 2. Excellent. And then access the server. Trash that. Let's go again.
The infinite replenishment of leech is quite helpful at this stage.
Steal.
Very good.
Let's go again. Oh. Oh.
I think I'll do that.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh, I knew there was a chance for a snare.
At least it left you on 0 credits, Dave, so that's...
Yes, quite.
If I want to trash a resource, what happens?
It's in your magic list, isn't it? Of things you can do.
It'll ask you which one would you like to trash, and then it will remove a click and 2 credits from you.
Okay, so it's not like is that worth it? I guess so.
It's 100% worth it.
That's absolutely the worst thing that could have happened to me right then. Yeah.
Make him dig out from 0 credits rather than letting him just click up to 8 instantly.
Yeah. And you killed another liberated account with the snare and flipping daily casts. It was a lot of dosh to lose in one go. But if I don't face plant the snares,
You'd be much better off.
I'd be a-okay, yeah. But I can't I can't live in.
You know the old saying.
You know the old saying.
Have a good day.
Classic saying. For every snare I get rid of, there's a spin doctor waiting to mess me up too. Run. Archives. There you go. Cool.
Oh, must archives. That was silly of me.
Sure.
Getting all the monies.
That seems kind of pointless to put out because it would cost too much for me to make that initial run. But the fence is going to cost me this turn if I don't hoon in there and do something about something.
Thing I kept forgetting when I played the deck with the companions.
Right, 3 credits is... It's a Lacosta grid.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. Cool.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh, shizer. Let me... credit and finish. Yep. Okay, there we go. Oh, sorry, Mark. This one's taking a little bit longer.
Can you res upgrades at any time?
You may, yes.
Oh, of course you can, because if someone's making a run on you, you can res things.
during any paid activity window, right?
Really?
For an upgrade, yeah.
Yep.
Well, any res window, which is strictly speaking not the same as paid ability windows, but they're very close to.
Sure.
What are the res windows if I wanted to res an upgrade?
I don't know them all off the top of my head, but if you refer to the timing chart and in the comprehensive rules, they would tell you that like before your turn begins, in between each click, in between each res of ice during a run,
Can
all
I
sorts of opportunities.
an upgrade now?
Right, yes, you can. That would be the perfect time to res that particular upgrade.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. That's a code gate, which would cost me how much to get through? How many virtual resources do I have? Just the 2.
I have really grazed my knee, and it's entirely my own fault for being so silly. Yesterday, I went climbing in shorts because it was a lovely day yesterday, and I was trying to practice a knee bar, and it's like a difficult route, but I just wanted to practice. So I was climbing up the easy bit to go to there, and being a real muppet, I didn't even think about the skin on my knees being much, much weaker than the skin on my hands. And so when I was trying to first get my knee in, really hurt, and I thought, oh, this really hurts. Let me remove it. And managed to really, really graze the whole knee. Nightmare.
There it is. 0 cost to get through Tide. But what's the real cost? It's running into this snare. Oh, it's not actually. I take it back. Trash. Him. Super best friends, being super and best friends. Amazing. Yeah. Right.
Oh, crap.
Right. Now.
Well, yeah, that's how you want to use Fence of Way now.
Let's run. Oh no. Yep. Sorry. Got to continue to do the ice in order to actually do the thing. Boo! Sure. Cool.
You're very well set up now, though, Dave, with all your breakers and all your with
three virtual resources. Yep, and I've still got MU left if I want to bring out something else ridiculous. Now I've just got to balance the use of those guys, otherwise they end up trashing themselves. Oh my goodness.
Didn't mean to draw, for fudge's sake.
Okay. Right.
Wasn't a bad draw.
Let's draw.
So when I was playing earlier, I misunderstood how Crisium Grid worked, and I had it on my remote servers, thinking, oh, they won't be able to steal any defenders.
Oh no, they can still access.
Yeah,
and an access count's fine. Yeah,
that would be incredibly busted if that's how it works.
Yeah. Can you imagine? That's like saying you absolutely have to gain 5. Gain 5. That's a lot of programs. You absolutely have to gain 5 money before you run this server. Well, no. Yeah, because then you wouldn't be able to access the Crisium grid either, right? Yeah, that would be busted. Sure. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Oh, you're in a bit of
Oh,
a pickle.
sure. That seems fair, doesn't it? Doesn't that seem
What?
fair? That
The Cyborg X is another stupid card that shouldn't exist.
yeah. That seems fair, I suppose. Right. Bugger it. I've got a bit of cash now. Let's just do this thing.
But I have to actually pay for this one though.
Yeah, 3 credits to get through the first time. These super best friends are the best, aren't they?
Oh,
Like
they are.
the
When you can get them set up nicely, it is so satisfying.
and with Keiko
Not-
as
not-
well.
Not me. Let me just stress that. I'm quite pissed off about that. I wanted that clearinghouse, Dave.
Perfectly understandable. Yeah, I can imagine. Although I do have 7 flipping cards in hand, it would have cost you quite a lot to get a clearinghouse up there, and would have made it reasonably obvious, maybe not super obvious as to what it was. Okay, let's have a look. What do we got? No, there we go.
The question is now, what shenanigans can Sharon get up to?
Oh, she's got 6
To,
agenda points. It's like if I don't,
Oh, wow.
if I miss on something here, I'm in deep car, right? Deep car. So let's run R&D.
I mean, that seems the obvious thing to do in this situation.
Yep. Mark, that sounded sarcastic. It sounded sarcastic.
It's like putting a palisade in front of R&D.
Sure. I mean, it's still fully
It
broke.
costs a credit.
Palisade. It does cost me a credit, which is... I'll have it. There we go. Don't really care about it at this stage, to be honest. But it's 1 less card in hand to accidentally access, and it costs me only 2 minus 1 because it's the first time that I've used this, so I've gained 1. So it cost me 1 to trash. I might as well trash it, right? Then HQ again. Let's clear out HQ if we can, as much as possible. And let's go find that last snare, shall we? Because I've got no clicks left, so obviously it's the snare.
If only there was a way not to access a snare at this stage.
Let's kill it with fire. There we go. Discard down to 7 cards.
Approach.
That and that. There we go.
What you've overlooked here, Dave,
Is a score?
Right, so.
Yeah, I had almost no way of being able to get through that properly. I don't think. It's with the Lotus Field costing me. I started on 11 credits, didn't I? So I would have been able to. I couldn't reduce the strength of the Lotus Field, and it's a code gate. The code gate would have cost me for 1, 2,
Would it?
3
To...
plus. Oh no, yeah, it would have only cost me 4 to break. But then there are 2 unencountered ice in front of it. Sharon, what were those? Slash res all. Because
Or
I'm fairly certain these would have cost me my last credits, like by a chunk. Yeah.
see
The
now
issue,
the thing I
the
think about this deck is I think I should just sack off the 2 Crisium grids and add
Engram
2 more
flush.
ice.
Fucking engram flush would have cost me far too much to get through.
what was your? Why do you have ice walls in the deck? What's you thinking now?
It was like a barrier ice that was that it worked well with wall to wall because I can advance it without having to pay if I can get my wall to walls out.
That's right. You'd
No,
forgotten the wall to wall was in there, hadn't you, Mark? That's...
you had. I had. I did
Yeah.
forget that wall to wall was in this Jinteki deck.
There's a
But
shit ton of Wayland cards in here,
it's
I
fine.
just love Wayland.
as
Okay?
well as spin doctors. Wait. I mean, that's loads and loads of influence. Yeah.
Well, Critiums
Crikey.
are only one. Spin Doctors are only one.
Barriers are one as well. Yeah.
I guess it's the clearing houses and the Crisiums that eat it up. But...
Yeah. A Crisium's only one as well, would you believe? It's the
Yeah.
wall to wall. Wall to wall and
sorry,
clearinghouse.
the
Yeah.
clearing house and the wall to wall is the ones that are the high influence.
Yeah. Which means that you've probably only got 2 clearinghouse?
Yeah. And how many
One
snares?
wall to wall? Because 9, 10, 11,
I've got
12,
1 clearinghouse,
13.
2 walls, 2 spin,
Okay, that way round. Yeah.
2 Crisium grids, and honestly, they haven't really helped me much at all.
Yeah, and the ice wall.
2 ice walls, yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, Prison Grid is a good card for reasons that you outlined earlier, guarding against things like Maker's Eye and what have you. But Dave's
sneak door
offense was all single access based.
Yeah.
We didn't see any.
You got really fixated on HQ, Dave.
I was trying to scab your agendas before you got a chance to put them out.
Yeah. I really only had the one that you got
Yeah.
at that time.
I just figured that there had to be a chunk in there because your R&D was meh protected, and normally you go ham on that. So it was
I think the R&D, what did I have there? I had a Karuna or something.
a Palisade in front of R&D, but I didn't know that until this turn. Like, but I just figured with one card in front of it, you couldn't care about it too much. Normally you go a lot stronger on that. Cool.
Yeah. I have quite a few agenda cards, but they are low scoring.
Yeah. Understandable with PE. Interesting with Restoring Humanity that you went with that. But I guess like the low scoring ones are easier to get out with a Lacosta grid, right? Like quite. Oh,
and then I have the spin doctors to help me get money cards back.
Yeah.
If I'm
sure.
No, I do need the Crisium grid because then because I have so many. Oh, that was it. I was playing with this deck earlier, and someone got 3 agendas in a row in one run because they used Maker's Eye.
Oh, sure.
I got the Crisium grid on my remote server because I didn't understand how it worked.
That's just tremendously unlucky, though.
Yeah.
A Maker's Eye hitting 3 agendas happens once in a lifetime.
Yeah, horrible bad luck. Yeah. Yeah, so I basically had out everything there. That was my full setup.
That was
and
scary.
Yeah. More T4.
That point, I was saying, like, what shenanigans has Sharon got? She had a miss-A counter, which would have made it very expensive for you to get in the remote.
Yeah.
And basically that's all she had, because you were fully set up. You were probably going to be profiting on your runs rather than spending credits. But
maybe.
The remote was still quite daunting.
I understand completely why Engram Flush is banned AF, because for 2 credits to have a 5 strength code gate out is ridiculous. That's nonsense cost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cheap. Yeah. You may trash one
Oh,
revealed
right.
to...
Lesson
I suppose
time.
you're most likely to just run through it and be damned it. You'll take the pain. Yeah.
Well, you can do, but with how prickly all Jinteki things are, it's
Yeah. A
not
risky
easy.
Yeah, a risky prospect. Cool. Cool.
Learn about boomerangs.
Yes. Fine. We can learn about boomerangs.
Absolutely desperate to get onto being able to have your boomerangs in deck.
Almost every runner deck I play against has got a boomerang in it. And I keep getting boomeranged left, right, and centre, and it's incredibly annoying.
Boomerang has been one of the most played cards since its release, that's absolutely for sure.
Ooh, blueberry. Ooh, can't wait to get there. Right. Always have a backup plan. What's this then that we're doing?
Well, we're doing criminal cards.
Criminal, that's it.
So the last of the runner factions that we've to look at in the Ashes cycle, and as I've mentioned earlier, that just leaves us with NBN to cover in Wednesday's stream.
Yeah.
But without further ado, let's look at the criminals. And we start with always have a backup plan. This is an event with lots of text on it. It costs 2 to play, and it says, run any server. When that run ends, if it was unsuccessful, you may run that server again, ignoring any additional costs to run.
Huh.
And then during this second run, when you encounter the last ice you encountered in the first run, you may now bypass it.
Sure.
So, if on that last game we saw then with Sharon having the ice wall, the engram flush, and the Lotus field on the remote, if David made an always have a backup plan run, he would have had to break the ice wall and break the engram flush. And then if, say, he couldn't afford to break the Lotus field, he could have automatically made another run on that server, broke the ice wall again because he has a credit left, hypothetically, let engram flush fire because he can't afford to break it again, and then when he gets to Lotus field, he bypasses Lotus field and goes straight into the remote.
Or you slam your face into a Crisium grid and you're like, lol, here we go again, right?
No,
it's
not
unsuccessful.
recursive. It only happens once.
Sure. But if you had been successful the first time and it had been made unsuccessful, would that be unsuccessful or would that be successful not successful?
Yes. A Crisium grid run is neither successful nor unsuccessful.
Oh, give
it
over.
just is. Yeah.
Crisium grid is such
someone had a
voodoo.
Crisium grid on the remote and you played this, you would be very sad indeed, yes. Well, that seems unlikely, to be honest.
Oh, cool.
So the idea of this card is, well, a lot of it was designed in mind with a card called Border Control. There's a card in Standard called Border Control that you can forcibly end the run with. So even if the runner breaks it, you can use Border Control to say, no, you're stopping. Kind of like a Nisei counter built into a piece of ice.
Sure.
So this was saying, if that happens, if your run gets forcibly stopped, you can have another run for free.
Gotcha.
And if that ice that stopped you is still there, this time it can't. Aha! But you've still got to get to the end on that second. You've still got to get to the ice that stopped you on that second run, so it may still be a lot more credits. It's quite expensive for what it enables you to do. Is basically it.
If you arse this up as well, this could really cost you like a lot. If the first time to get through the run was painful, then doing the run again involuntarily, I suppose it does say may, right? So if you get to the end of it, you're not absolutely stuffed. Yeah.
And if you really want to concern yourself with arsing yourself up, this is a forced bypass on the piece of ice that stopped you last time. But if the piece of ice that stopped you last time was an ice we have in standard called a Nancy that you can't bypass, or in fact it punishes you if you bypass it, then you wouldn't be able to you wouldn't want to bypass it the second time because it would damage you to do so. So it has a lot of sort of caveats and conditions with it. And when you compare it to a card that's already in the startup card pool in the shape of Inside Job, which just says bypass a piece of ice and get on with it, it's like, why would you bother reading all this? You'd just play Inside Job and it'd be better. So really, this card doesn't see any play at all.
Gotcha. Next up,
card that sees some play is Blueberry Diesel, and this is an event. It costs you absolutely nothing to play, and its ability works in separate stages. Mm-hmm. So first of all, you look at the top 2 cards of your stack. You don't draw them. Mm-hmm. You take them away from your cards in your hand, and you look at those 2. Then, if you wish, you may add one of those cards to the bottom of your stack. So if that's another copy of a program that you don't want, you don't need, or it's something expensive that you don't want now, you want it till later in the game, you can move that to the bottom of your deck and wait to draw it later. Then, theoretically, you put that card or 2 cards in your hat that you've got left in your hand back on top of your stack, and then you draw 2 cards.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
Sure. So it is essentially drawing 2 out of 3 cards. But you don't get to look at the 3 cards and decide. You get to look at 2 of them and decide whether you want to bottom one of them, and then you draw 2 cards.
Cool.
So you compare it to original Flavor Diesel, the green one, which draws you 3 cards, but that's because Shapers are better at drawing cards than Criminals are. So the Blueberry Flavor, which slides into Criminal, has to be a slightly different version of it.
Yeah. I don't suppose there's ever really a worry that you're trying to tuck any cards or hide anything when you're a runner as well. So it's not really as if it's going to see use over regular Diesel if you've got the option of using regular Diesel, right?
I mean, filtering your deck is a thing for sure. And, like I mentioned, sometimes you've got some high impact events that you want to see later in the game.
Sure.
The ability to not have to keep them in your hand all the way through the game can be quite useful. But it's not as useful as just the raw power of drawing a card. Yeah. So you've got to temper it against that.
Cool.
Now a card that sees play in all decks ever, forevermore, amen.
Yeah.
It's Bravado. It's a 3-credit event. It's a run event. And it says, run a server protected by ice. When that run ends, gain 6. So at the very least, you're going to have earned 3 credits. Mm-hmm. But also gain an extra credit for each piece of ice you pass during the run. And that's whether it's rezzed or not.
Cool.
So,
sure.
even if you can't break the first piece of ice, you'll just by playing this, you're going to gain 3 credits.
Yeah.
If the corp can't afford to res 1 or 2 pieces of ice, or chooses not to res those pieces of ice because it's not advantageous at this point in the game. For example, when Sharon made that run on your remote so she could use en passant.
Yeah.
then it would have clocked up another 2 credits gained because you've just scrolled past those without them being rezzed. Or even if the ice is rezzed, it's just a great way to make a run through multiple pieces of ice, because you want to be. Sometimes you need to be making a run through multiple pieces of ice anyway to get into to steal an agenda, or to maybe to build up your conduit counters and R&D, and you may as well get paid for doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Cool.
So the fact it is so profitable whilst you're doing something you want to be doing means it's an automatic 3-of in all criminal decks, and it often finds its way into other factions as well.
Understandably. Cool. Sure.
Now we move into the hardware section. And some fun little cards here. Oddities. So we start off with Lucky Charm. And Lucky Charm has a similar goal and design objective to go along with always have a backup plan that we talked about a second ago. What it says is, you may remove this hardware from the game to prevent a corp card ability from ending the run. But you can only use this ability if you have made a successful run on HQ this turn. So let's say they're using border control, or planning to use border control to end your run, or they have a Nisei counter that they think is going to make it very expensive and force you having to run the server twice. You can go, haha, no. If I can make a run on HQ, providing that run on HQ is affordable, then when a piece of ice, which is a card ability, or when a Nisei counter, which is also a card ability, tries to stop you, you can just trash your Lucky Charm and say, no, I'm not stopping.
Here we go.
So it feels, or on reading, to me, like a super powerful ability. In practice, it hasn't seen that much play. I think it's a little bit cautiously costed. The fact that you have to make the HQ run first and then use it means that if there's any suspicion against criminals, you're typically icing up HQ anyway to block the Docklands passes and the legworks and the other cards that fire off HQ, diversion of funds being the big one in the standard card pool. So usually there's multiple pieces of ice on HQ. So by the time you've run the HQ to turn on your Lucky Charm, then you may have been able to run the remote twice. There's nothing saying that running HQ will be cheaper.
Sure.
But in the right game, for example, that last game we just had where HQ was at times free for you to access, then this would have been a great cost saving on the remote. Cool. But does that make it worth a slot? That's for the court to decide.
Yeah. Cool. Next up we
have Flip Switch, and Flip Switch is a weird one. It's a fun one though. It's a one-cost hardware, and it says you cannot use this hardware during the corp's turn. Well, why is that? Because its abilities are things you want to do. Well, things that you may want to do at unusual times during the turn. So, first of all, it allows you to jack out from a run during a paid ability window during the approach step before you've encountered a piece of ice. What the heck does that mean? Right, so you're getting into the reads of the timing structure now. You say, I'm going to make a run on your server. as you make that run on the server, the first thing you do is approach it. Then the corp has the choice of whether they want to res it or not. After they've resed it, you then progress to the encounter. You usually progress to the encountering stage, and if you can't deal with that piece of ice, it is going to fire and hurt you, or end the run, or whatever. What this says is, during the approach phase, the co-op reses the ice. You go, oh shucks,
Nope.
that's something big and nasty I can't afford to deal with. You can trash your flip switch, and you can jack out in a time that you can't normally jack out of. Therefore, that ice's effect is not going to hurt you. There's going to be no impact.
So, if the corp decided to res, what's the ice that gives you a tag upon resing, for instance?
Ping.
What's the speed on ping? Do you still get the tag from ping, but then you can jack out?
Yes, ping gives you the ice on res, not on encounter. I think.
The tag on res, yeah. Okay, cool.
Nervously. There are like Funhouse would give you the
tag immediately, right?
When you encounter it.
When you encounter it. So you could choose not to encounter it, but that's not a great example because you can always just choose to not take the tag anyway and bounce off.
Yeah.
But let's say you wanted to take the tag and you wanted to proceed. You can also use the second ability on Flip Switch to remove a tag. So you could take that tag on Funhouse and then just trash this so that you're no longer tagged. Now, if you had a card that I don't think exists in the startup pool, but there is a card in the standard pool that's an agenda, and it says if you access this agenda whilst tagged, rather than steal it, it goes to the runner score area, the corpse score area. So being able to get past a tagging card like Funhouse and then remove that tag, which is an ability you don't usually have, can make it useful for shenanigans like that as well. But wait, there's more. There's a third ability, and it says whenever a trace initiates during your turn, you may trash Flip Switch to reduce the base trace strength to 0. So, if you run into a piece of ice which has a trace ability that I'm sure exists, but I can't think of right now, and it's going to fire at trace 3 or trace 4, you can trash Flip Switch to make it fire at a trace 0. So unless the corp pays into that trace, then it is not going to be successful, or is unlikely to be successful.
And we saw traces last week. On Wednesday.
Yeah, the one you ran into was a trace 6 as well, so it would then be a trace 0.
Yes, Trebuchet is a great example.
Could you go over what that V means again?
The little exclamation mark, you mean, with the sort of V shape behind it? It means it replaces a reaction or an action, I think.
Oh, okay.
So
it's actually called the interrupt symbol. And it says when something else is happening, an effect is taking place, you interrupt it to do something else instead. So in this case, where the trace 6 off Trebuchet was about to fire, you interrupt it to turn it into a trace 0 instead.
Yeah.
The key point to note, though, that only works during your turn. It does not save you from traces on the corp's turn. For example, punitive counterstrike would still be quite punitive. You can't just reduce it to 0 with flip switch. But yes, it is, as Tenacious said earlier, it is a get out of jail free card in various scenarios and contexts, and it makes it a lot safer, if you like, to go face planting into ice early in the game.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
Next one, Masterwork version 37.
Masterwork version 37. It's a console. It gives you an extra MU.
Cool.
And it also says the first time each turn you install a piece of hardware, you may also draw a card.
Does it count itself for that?
It certainly does.
Good stuff.
And it also says whenever a run begins, you may install a piece of hardware, paying 1 more than its usual install cost, but doing so clicklessly.
Oh.
So if you have a hardware in hand, for example, Sharon's favourite card, Boomerang, that we're going to come on to in a second,
Huh.
rather than spending a click to install Boomerang, you can just start your run and install it via Masterwork. It will cost you 3 credits rather than 2, but it will, there's a
Save you a click.
And you'll
save you
also
a click, which in some cases can be more important than a credit. And installing that Boomerang would also draw you a card because of the first part of its ability.
Sure enough.
whenever a run begins. Yeah, okay.
Cool.
And it also ties into a card that we're going to look at in a second, which has got a lot of text on it as well, and makes that whole interaction even more complicated, which is great.
Excellent.
But before then, let's look at MU Safecracker.
Oh, cool.
It's a stealth card. Now we haven't we have spoken about stealth cards before, but we haven't played with any of them yet, other than coincidentally. So Trickster Attacker we saw play today, but we didn't use its stealth credits in any way. We just used it as a credit source.
Yeah.
But if you do have a source of stealth credits that you can spend on hardware, which I think rules out Trickster Attacker that says you can only spend it on programs. But anyway, whenever you make a successful run on HQ, you may spend a stealth credit on MU Safecracker to access an additional card from HQ. Or, if you make a successful run on R&D, you may pay 2 stealth credits to access an additional card from R&D. And that is indicative of criminals' higher affinity with HQ accesses than it is with R&D accesses.
But you pay after the fact, right? After your run has been declared successful, so you don't waste any money on it beforehand, right? That's pretty cool.
Correct. So when you get to the successful run stage, it would then say, do you want to use Safecracker credits? And if you do, you may then access additional ones. Oh, sorry, do you want to use credits on Safecracker? And if you do, then you get benefit from it.
Cool.
Now, in a deck that is already using stealth credits, this is a nice addition because accessing extra cards on HQ and R&D is good. It's how you can win the game. And you probably have an abundance of stealth credits anyway. In any other deck, it's an unplayable card. So it's pretty niche, but it's pretty fun in the right deck.
Sure. Cool. And then the next one, Prognostic Q Loop, right? Bugger it.
It's the infamous Boomerang. And as Sharon has noted, it is in every deck, in every faction, in every type of the game. You can't get away from Boomerang.
Ban it.
And now finally it's legal in the Team Squared card pool.
Ban it immediately.
Yeah.
If it appears everywhere, it's broken. Ban it.
So it's a 2-cost piece of hardware. When you install it, you must choose an installed piece of ice. And Boomerang, for this particular instance of it, can only be used on the piece of ice selected.
Mm-hmm.
Then, when you encounter said piece of ice, you can trash Boomerang to break 2 subroutines, regardless of strength, regardless of type. It's like an AI breaker, like Mayfly, but it doesn't even have to match strength. It can look at a Pharos, it can look at a Bran, it can look at a Ansel and just say, yeah, whatever. Furthermore, when this run ends, if it was successful, you take Boomerang out of your heap and shuffle it back into your stack, so it recurs infinitely.
Because it's a boomerang. Sure.
Yeah.
It's a boomerang.
Only if successful, though.
Yeah.
Only if successful, and you may only trash it on when you're encountering a piece of ice. So what has happened in the past is that people have trashed the ice that Boomerang has been installed on. Therefore, it doesn't have a criteria to fire anymore and is therefore stranded.
Yep.
But what you can do as with any unique card, is if you wish, you may overwrite the currently installed copy with a new copy, and therefore you have brought the second one into play. Now, you can't bring that first one back. It doesn't say, if the run is successful, shuffle all copies of Boomerang back. It's only the one copy that you've used. But
the only difference there is that it's stranded in your heap instead of on your playfield. That's the only difference. If you play a second copy to overwrite it, you're not getting, like, for instance, if you had 3 of them in deck, numerically you've still only got 2 of them in deck. You don't have, it's not going back into your deck so that it occurs more often.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's at least it's not stopping another boomerang being played.
no, sure.
Yeah.
So as we mentioned with Masterwork, you can do shenanigans where you can install the Boomerang clicklessly whilst when you're initiating a run.
Sure.
If you recall back to Paulie's Cafe from the Shaper card pool, you can install a Boomerang on a Paulie's Cafe, and then you don't need to guess which piece of ice it's going to be most effective of. You can pay to get this out in the middle of your run and just use it on the piece of ice that's going to be most cost effective for you. For example, in that last game, you wouldn't want to blind install it on an ice wall, but you would want to install it on an Engram flush. So if you can cheat it out midway through,
As soon as you
rather
see
than
the dang
getting
thing. Yep.
it,
Sorry, I was a bit sick in my mouth.
yeah.
Oh. And the later the game goes, the more and more you'll see of your boomerangs as well.
Oh yes.
Oof.
So there was a runner called Geist that was all about trashing his cards to get various benefits, and then you could bring them back to an extent. In fact, using a card we'll see later on this evening. But once they've gone essentially. So what he ended up with was his board state doing whatever his board state wanted, and then just recurring the same 3 boomerangs over and over again to keep putting them back.
Sure.
And it was a very, very strong deck because there aren't many pieces of ice that can deal with a boomerang. There are a small number of like 3 subroutines, or all 3 subroutines are important, but for the majority, Boomerang just breaks it hassle free.
Yeah, grim. Okay.
Moving on. Here's a card with a lot of text on it. It's Prognostic U-Loop. It's another hardware. It's a chip for the very rare times that matters. The first time each turn a run begins, you may look at the top 2 cards of your stack. Well, that's an effect we don't see very often.
Sure.
And then, for a credit, you may reveal the top card of your stack, and you may install that card if it is a program or a piece of hardware.
Mm-hmm.
These are not click abilities. These are shenanigans you can do whilst a run is happening.
Cool.
So every time the first time you make a run each turn, you may look at those 2 cards, and then you can decide whether you want to do the second ability or not. But also, looking at those cards counts as using Prognostic Q-Loop, and that is important for a card that we'll come on to shortly.
Now, what's the benefit of looking at the top 2 cards if you can only use the top card?
Insight.
Okay.
Right. You then know whether it's worth your while drawing after that, or in the groove, would be would benefit. You can future sight with it. So you can determine whether, because there are cards that you like. What's the blueberry diesel, for instance? You know whether it's worth you blueberry dieseling straight away, or just picking up that one and then dieseling the next lot. That sort of shenanigans.
You actually do all kinds of ridiculous things with Masterwork as well. So you can choose the order that your triggers fire in. You can choose to use your Q-Loop to look at the first 2 cards of your stack. Then you can oh no, that's not what I meant. You can do all kinds of weird things though.
Timing wise though, this part of it is just a once per turn. You don't actually have to have done the first bit to do this second bit, do you?
Oh no.
Which means that you can look at the top 2 cards of your stack on your first run. If you want to save one of them, right, you don't have to use the next ability. You can then, after that run's over, draw the card that you know's coming, because you know it's coming, and then make a run and use this ability halfway through to say cheat out your boomerang clicklessly, right, for 1 extra that you know is the second card down.
Yeah. Thanks also to Jessica. She has managed to explain that combo that I've just failed to explain. So, if you see a card on top of your deck which is not a piece of hardware, you can use Masterwork to install a piece of hardware from your hand, which will then draw you the card from the top of your deck, therefore putting you a program or hardware on top of your deck for you then to Q-Loop at a time that is convenient for you.
Well, that goes together reasonably neatly.
Yeah, and like you just said, it doesn't even have to be part of a run. You can just say, I know what the card is on top of my deck. I'm going to pay this credit now to install something clicklessly.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
There is it's shenaniganery of the highest order. Moving on then, we've got another card that Sharon's played already.
Oh, I like this one though.
This is a lot more simple. This is Swift. It's a console. It gives you an extra MU. And it says when you play a run event, that's a run event, not making a run. When you play a run event, gain an extra click. So the most common home for this deck is in Ken Tenma, where he wants to play many run events, because that's what his ID ability fires off. And therefore, when you play one, not only are you gaining a credit, you're then also gaining a click. So you're essentially creating 5-click turns. But it can see some play in any deck where you're going to make a number of run events, and that could pretty much go for any criminal, because a lot of your best abilities are run events, and why not get an extra click when you're doing them if that's what your deck is designed to do? The only challenge to it is whether something like Penny Shaver or a different console, maybe Masterwork, offers you even more value than gaining a few extra clicks per game. But it's in good company. There are multiple options there, depending on what type of deck you're putting together.
Cool.
Then we have someone who can make use of all this hardware and shenanigans quite nicely. In fact, note since Geist has rotated, they become the go-to ID for that type of stuff, and it's as McCaffrey. It's they're a Cyborg. 4515. Come with a link in case that comes relevant for all those traces that you're resetting to 0.
Mm.
And it says the first job resource, and there aren't many job resources. I think Red Team is the only one that's possible now. Or connection resource, and there are multiple connection resources. Or piece of hardware you install each turn costs less than 1 to install.
Cool. Cool.
So, it's a simple ability, although the specifics of the cards that are involved are quite strange. But the first time you play one of those 3 type of cards, you can install it for 1 less. And when you're installing multiple copies of Boomerangs and Masterworks and Flip Switches and Lucky Charms, the ability to save a credit every time when doing so can add up to be a significant saving over the cost of the game.
It's just the first install each turn, though, right? It's not like the first job resource and the first connection resource and the first piece of hardware, is it? It's just the first time you install one of those 3. Yeah. Cool.
But it is also each turn, not your turn. So if you were installing something, say, Prognostic Fuel Loop on the corpse turn...
Oh my gosh, right. Son of a bitch. Okay, yeah. Yep. That's okay, cool. Yeah. Ridiculous.
And yes, for the lower fans out there, as Jessica points out, Az is the trans son of Kate McCaffrey, and Kate McCaffrey is the card that you now know as the artist from the Shapers.
Kate McCaffrey was a Shaper, right?
Kate McCaffrey was the original Shaper in the original colour set.
Cool.
And her ability was the first time you install a program or a piece of hardware, you'd save a credit.
Excellent.
And Az is following in her footsteps, but not quite the same, with job resources, connection resources, and hardware.
Doing it for the criminals instead.
Yes.
Cool.
Now, I'm intrigued by how you pronounce the next card.
Oh, Bug Alter.
Bug Alter.
Yes. Bug Alter is the best killer or sentry breaker in the game by approximately 4.2 million light years. It used to be a thing within Netrunner that there were no good sentry breakers.
Sure. Right.
And that was part of the reason that that criminals were considered of getting short shrift. So anarchs are the best at fractors,
Mm-hmm.
shapers are the best at decoders, criminals are the best at killers, but because there was no such thing as a good killer, that meant that even the best ones that criminals had weren't very good.
Cool.
And then Nisei decided to change that by making a good killer, and it's Bug Alter.
Excellent.
So it costs 3 to install, takes up 1 MU, only 1 strength as a starting point, and it's got the very basic numbers of 1 to pump and 1 to break. But the first time each turn that you break all subroutines on a piece of ice using only Bug Alter, you gain 2 credits. That
Excellent.
means breaking some sentries is free, breaking other sentries is profitable, and breaking even big sentries is a lot cheaper than it is with most other killers.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it will definitely, well, it will be the killer in all non-stealth criminals, and it will often be the killer out of faction if they can afford that 4 influence.
Oh, 4 influence.
4 influence is not to be sniffed at.
No, that's quite pricey.
Yep. And
then, if Bug Alter's not good enough for you, here's another fantastic killer.
This one's cool.
But this one can only be used with stealth credits. So you need to be on a stealth build to use Afterimage. So Afterimage is 4 credits to install, starts at strength 2, and has 2 abilities really. First of all, once per turn, when you encounter a sentry, if you can pay 2 stealth credits, you can bypass it. So you don't even have to worry about what strength it is and how many subroutines it's got and all those shenanigans. It becomes like a femme fatale that can be used on multiple different pieces of ice. And then, even if you're not bypassing it, for each stealth credit you use to pump Afterimage, it gains 2 strength. So that means it is just 2 stealth credits to jump up to 6 strength, which is about as strong as sentries get, off the top of my head. Plus 1 credit of any description, stealth or normal, will break 2 sentry subroutines. So it's incredibly efficient for breaking the sentries that you do have to encounter after bypassing the first one. So, if you're that's the type of stuff you can do with stealth builds, though, because as we saw in Shaper with Penrose, that stealth breakers are incredibly efficient so long as you have the stealth credits to pay for them.
Sure. Cool.
Nice. So the only oh no, there's another program.
Oh no, there's more. But wait.
A few more, yeah. There's a few more to go. The next one is Mackler. And Mackler is a fractor that works in a similar way to Bug Alter, but because criminals are bad at fractors, Mackler is in no way as efficient as Bug Alter is. So, it starts at strength... It's 5 to install, which is a heck of a lot. It starts at strength 2. But it... you have to break 2 barrier subroutines whether there's only one ice or whether only one subroutine or not, and that costs you 2 credits. And if the ice is strength 3 hard lines, you're going to have to pump it up to 4, which costs you 2 credits. And then the first time that you break all subroutines on a piece of ice using Mackler, you only get 1 credit rebate rather than 2.
Sure.
So it's a heck of a lot more expensive to use and has a
costly.
lower rebate.
Cool.
And it is part of criminals' colour pie that they should not have good fractors. This sees a small amount of play because it is like the best of a bad bunch. And as Jess says in chat, yeah, it's interesting to see which is worse, this or Marginar. They're both not great. You would only really put them in if you're planning to break fractors some other way. For example, I'm just going to use Boomerang on all barriers, and I'll have this here as an emergency backup.
Cool.
Okay, that's the end of programs. Now we move into the resource section. And the first card in the resource section is the last of the throwback cards. So you may remember from previous episodes that I described there's one throwback card that's unplayable, there's one that sees a bit of play but isn't very good, and there's one that sees a lot of play. Welcome to the good one.
Yes.
This is the Class Act, which is a throwback to Andromeda, who was, for a long period of time, the best runner ID in the game. And she was the best runner ID in the game because her ID ability was start with 9 cards in your hand. Essentially, have a free turn before you start where you draw up 4 extra cards, and then on your first go, you've got access to so many options in terms of getting the money things you want first, or the draw you want first, or punishing the corpse straight off the bat. It was just a huge advantage. Even though it does nothing then for the rest of the game, it gets you such a flying start. It was just an incredible ability. And that ability is echoed here in the Class Acts ability. So, on the turn during which you installed the Class Act, when it ends, draw 4 cards. And that is after the end of your turn. So, for that turn, essentially your hand size limit becomes 9. Or 10 or 11 if you've installed some T400s already. But that is not just what the Class Act does, because after that point, it gives you filtered draw. So on your first card draw each turn after installing the Class Act, you get to look at the top X cards of your stack, so normally the top 2, and add one of them to the bottom. Where X is the amount you were meant to draw plus 1. So if you're using your basic action card to draw a card, that now means draw 2 cards and choose which one is better.
Yep.
I mean, you do have that situation of you draw 2 good cards and you're like, I'm going to have to put one of these back. But you're picking the best of them.
I mean, life could be worse, right? Like, oh no, which of these great cards do I get? Oh well.
Yeah. And she does trigger herself if you haven't drawn previously that turn. So if you install the Class Act and you don't draw any other cards that turn, at the end of your turn you will draw 5 and put the least useful one on the bottom.
Cool.
Yes, and as Jessica again points out, I think she's played some of these criminal cards before. That if you're even in bottoming a card isn't the end of the world because Boomerang shuffles itself back in after you use it,
Oh,
so
so it's
you've got an
just a
equal
tuck.
chance of it coming straight back to the top again.
Solid. Yeah, excellent.
But it's great, particularly against things like PE, as we've seen tonight, because you can draw quickly to find the cards you want without throwing them away.
Mm.
They're going to go back in your deck as the hit points that you need to survive.
Cool.
And because she's a connection, yep, she gets a discount for ours as well.
Of course. And here's another connection.
Here's another connection that Az gets a discount, and it's Backlund Botchkin. And Backlund Botchkin is a card I'm surprised hasn't seen more play since came out. I think he's possibly one that kind of slips into that 46th or 41st card slot, which for most people means they don't get included. But obviously for you guys, that's not a problem. Just stick it
How
It's not
dare you?
Mark, because my draft deck that I'm building while we go through this is already at 67 cards. So
67 cards.
It's PE proof, yeah. What does Backlund Botchkin say? It's it says the first time each run you encounter a piece of ice, place a power counter on Backlund Botchkin. Then, well, not then, separate to that, they have a trash ability that says de-res the ice you are encountering if its strength is equal to or less than the number of hosted power counters on Backlund Botchkin. And then take one tag. Not really sure why it's got that clause on the end, but I suppose they thought it was too strong without it or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they've spent the Corp has spent potentially a ton of money resing a big piece of ice. It's not ideal because you have to encounter that piece of ice a number of times to get the right counters on them.
Any piece of ice.
De-res it.
Any piece of ice you can encounter, but you do have to make as many runs as the strength of the ice that you want to de-res, right?
Exactly that, yeah. So you could run past a tithe that you're paying 0 for 6 times, and then go and encounter a Bran and de-res it.
Sure.
And de-resing it is very much in Criminal's wheelhouse, where Shapers move ice around and Anarchs trash ice. Shapers Crims are all about de-resing it, and you've seen that through cards like Emergency Shutdown. Yeah, good card. Unfortunately, doesn't quite see a lot of play, but
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's what it is. Unique as well, so you can't stack them, unfortunately. That would be a little bit busted.
all right, next one.
Next one is Penumbral Toolkit, and it's useful if you're playing a stealth deck, and it's not if you're not. It says
That is very useful. Yeah.
You pay 2 credits, then you put 4 stealth credits on it.
Sure.
Or just 4 normal credits, because there's no such token-wise, there's no difference to stealth credits. It's just credits that come from a stealth card. As you can see, this is Resource Stealth Virtual. But also says that this card costs 2 less to install if you have already made a successful run on HQ this turn.
Which is your jam as a criminal, right?
Exactly right. So you've gone into HQ, you've done some shenanigans, and then you can install this, and then you're essentially getting 4 credits for 1 click. You're not even swapping an exchange rate of normal credits for stealth credits. You're just getting 4 free stealth credits.
Cool.
Yeah, and then you use those credits during runs, so you can use that to pay for your after image, but you can also pay for your MU Safecracker to get those extra accesses.
Love it.
That's all there is to it.
Excellent.
And then the last runner card in the set.
Oh my gosh.
Can you believe it?
No.
It's the back. And what do you mean it's called the back? As in, it's in the back of the shop. Have you got any dodgy stuff? Yeah,
I
it's
got
in
it
the back.
out the back.
Yeah. And what does this card do? Well, this does a weird thing. The first time each turn you use hardware during a run, wait, what? Place a power counter on this resource. Now, you may remember earlier I mentioned that Prognostic Q-Loop is used if you choose to look at the top two cards of your deck.
Gotcha, right.
So by a long street, looking at the top two cards of your deck with Prognostic Q-Loop is the easiest way to use hardware during a run. But there are other ways. I mean, you could use MU Safecracker, you could use Boomerang, you could use Masterwork. All those things count as being used as well.
All of the bits of hardware that trash themselves to use are used during runs usually as well, right? Like all of
and
the
for
stuff
each one of those, you put the power counters on the back.
Uh-huh.
And you pile up these power counters. Then, at some point later, you can click and remove from the game the back, and then you shuffle up to X cards with trash can abilities back from your heap into your stack. And X is double the number of hosted power counters.
Uh-huh.
So if you've used hardware during a run 4 times, you may shuffle 8 cards back. If you've used it 8 times, you may shuffle 16 cards back. It just depends how many cards with trash can abilities you can get into your deck to make this worthwhile.
Sure.
Now, as I said earlier, there used to be a runner called Geist who wanted every one of his cards to have a trash can ability. Ergo, the back meant he could recur his deck 3 times, and everybody hated it. Now that Geist has gone, as is the heir apparent to those type of shenanigans, and there are still a number of good trash can abilities, but the use of the back has dropped off significantly.
Gotcha.
But if you just scroll back through what we've seen today, Backlund Botchkin as a trash can. Boomerang obviously as a trash can.
Yeah. It's just trash can cards. It's not trash can hardware. It's just trash can cards.
Correct. Flip Switch as a trash can. You may recall Abigail, the criminals codegate breaker.
Bypass stuff, yeah. Cool. On the trash.
Symbol Chip has a trash can. Self-modifying code has a trash can.
Mm-hmm.
There are lots of trash can abilities. They're usually good cards. And they're usually good cards because they're limited by how many times you can use them.
Of course.
But wait, the back can bring them back. And you go again and again and again and again and again and again.
Excellent.
I mean, we're in a corp meta that goes at 1,000,000 miles an hour. So if you manage to recur all those that many things that many times, it's probably no one's having any fun. But you know, you get what you sign up for.
You might be losing on speed if you're recurring that often, though. Simply because it's taken you that long to get through it the first time, and the second and the third.
Yeah, quite. Even in the height of Geist mania, people only use the back once.
Yeah.
Just to they would burn through the deck once, and then they would get back the key bits to back it up, and then that was enough. So you're deliberately making a deck that will go on forever if that's what you end up doing. There is no real reason for you to do that.
Sure. Cool.
And that concludes the runner cards in the Ashes cycle and the startup card pool.
Extraordinary.
Excellent.
Yep.
There is not a startup runner deck you can't legally build now until you start putting standard cards into your startup pool. Gintech will tell you off for doing that.
I would expect it to happen.
What would happen if you had 69 cards in your starter deck?
Everybody would be legally forced to say "nice" every time you chose the deck from Jinteki right at the start of the game. That would be the only requirement, though.
Yes, and everyone else, and then after they've done that, they would then say, "Why have you got 69 cards in this deck? This is not max. You have not got enough draw to draw 69 cards."
Fine. So cool. As does hardware as well, right? As does hardware installs.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got kind of an idea, and it's a crap idea, but I'm gonna give it a go anyway.
Same. Oh, bugger! I've forgotten what I was going to ask. Oh, what are the cards that get you stealth? There's the companion card. There's that's the only one I can think of. There's the one we've just been through. The
yeah.
The one that you load 4 on that I've moved away from the page now.
The magical lockpick, the Penumbral Toolkit.
Yeah, Penumbral Toolkit.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. And there is
a companion, but that's sort of useless for this purpose.
There's mantle. Mantle is in your one of the shaper cards we looked at, but that is your lot within startup. The 2 big stealth cards is the Stealth ID, Smoke, and Netmerker, which is where you get your infinite supply of stealth credits from.
But we haven't used those yet.
They are not available in startup, I'm afraid.
So maybe it's not the best approach.
Well, what it's kind of teaching you is if you want to make a stealth deck in startup, that you can't go all in on stealth and make everything stealthy and expect it to just be expect to have infinite stealth credits like you can with Smoke and Netmarker. So you're probably going to have. You might decide that you want After Image because it's really good, and maybe the MU Safecracker to give you some extra accesses.
Yeah.
And you're going to pay for that with Trickster Attacker and Mantle, but you're going to do your code gate breaking and your barrier breaking with normal credits and normal breakers. So that it's an all-round more balanced deck. I think that is kind of what the idea of stealth credits were, that they become a small pool of very useful things rather than a completely dedicated stealth deck, which is what happened with Smoke and Netmarker.
See.
Yeah.
Can't wait to get to that one then.
Cool.
Okay, well, don't hold your breath. We're a long way off to bringing Smoke into the card pool.
You'll be pleased to know I've knocked it down to 68 cards now.
Oh wow. You know, that's
That's something.
Thrilled
that's
to hear it.
far too many, yeah.
Thrilled.
So, your homework. Again, second piece of homework in a week. What's this?
Oh, it's getting too much.
Your homework ahead of Wednesday is to make a criminal deck.
Solid.
I mean, technically, I've already completed my homework.
Well, sure. In fact, you've gone for extra credit, it sounds like, by putting too many of the cards in the deck. So,
Yeah, it sounds like it's broken already.
Shh.
Yeah.
Don't know that yet. Oh, all
Yep.
right. Well, that's fun.
Cool.
Then we will see those criminal decks in action. We'll whip through the NBN cards in the classroom, and I will sigh a massive relief as the startup card pool is finally finished.
And then we'll go on to eternal modes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Such fun.
So, whilst it's a Sunday, I'm not going to stay up all night, so I think I'm going to end the stream there.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
Sounds good. I'm going to get some sleep because I've got a lot of stuff to fix at work tomorrow. So, yeah.
I'm going to chill out.
Thanks very much for everyone who's joined us on our unusual streaming day.
Sunday stream. Cool.
Maybe we'll be back in the future. Who knows? But for now, we'll say good night.
Yeah.
See you on Wednesday.
Yep.
Good night.